So, guys, I climbed Scafell Pike last Saturday.
I saw the
Two
pictures. How was
questions.
it?
Where is Garfield and what's a pike? It's not
Isn't
a
a pike a
fish.
sort of fish?
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
yeah,
much of a climb.
a pike is a fish, but Scafell Pike is a mountain. It is the tallest peak in England.
It's certainly the tallest pike in England,
It is in the Lake District,
where pikes live.
so very up north from where us three are based. So Saturday was a very long day because on Friday I drove to my brother's, and he lives in around just outside of Leeds, and then on the Saturday he and we drove to my sister's in Manchester, and then we then drove to the Lake District, and then once we did Scaffold Pike, we drove back to Manchester, then back to where just outside of Leeds, and then I drove home. So it was a very, very
That
long
sounds
day.
like a very long day. Holy cow.
And then when I came home, I then went to my mate's birthday do, and then I didn't get home till 2 o'clock after waking up at 6 a.m. that day. It was a very long
Jesus
day.
Christ.
But Scaffold Pike was a really, really fun time. I did it with my brother and sister because I had never done anything really like that with my brother and sister before. I think everything we've done together has always been with our parents, or it's been with partners or other people, friends. We'd never done anything just as siblings. It was quite weird, but also really nice to have done something like this. I hats off to my brother. He drove all the way. He did all the driving from his to Scafell and back. He's an absolute trooper. But it was a really good hike up there. It was, cause I've done Snowdon, and it was far more difficult than Snowdon. And I kind of I don't know what I thought it was going to be like, but I thought, oh, it's smaller than Snowdon, so it can't be as bad. But it can't be. Surely it's going to be easier or worse. But it was far more difficult than I thought it would be. It was like really rocky from top to bottom.
So there wasn't really that many that sort of clear paths. Whereas like Snowdon is probably just turned into just like, okay, everyone from the UK go to Snowdon because it's the tallest mountain. And like probably like the amount of footsteps over is like just steadily worn it down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Snowdon's the second tallest, but it has Snowdon definitely the path I did was definitely a better path than Scaffold Pike. Also with Scaffold Pike, some of the other routes you could take, they were like, you need a compass and a map, and we're like, what the fuck? Because Snowdon's very, very marked out, and I think Ben Nevis, the tallest in the UK, which is the highest in Scotland, I think is also marked out, but Scaffold Pike is very different, and I was very taken aback. I didn't expect that, but it was an absolutely scorching, lovely sunny day. And it was really good doing it with my brother and sister. We got up there in about 2 hours, and we came down in an hour and 40. So we did good time.
Would you say that it's not probably necessarily a bright idea to like so? For those of you watching at the current time of recording, we're in the middle of a heat wave in the UK, and it's an absolute scorcher. But like, imagine, Dan, if you did it like this Sunday when we're meant to be getting like 35-degree heat. Like, how horrible do you think that would feel?
It was horrible just last Saturday. I'll be honest, the heat. I think it's we planned it in advance. We had no idea what the weather was going to be like. I took a raincoat. I didn't need it, but you don't know. You literally don't know. When I did Snowdon, it was a bit mixed of weather, whereas Scaffold Park was just sun, constant sun. It was lovely. But you got to prepare for whatever weather. That's the thing. I definitely want to do Snowdon again.
I'd like to do Snowdon because I've never been to Wales, and B, I did get the opportunity to go to Snowdon when I was in like year 2 or 3 at school. They were going to do like a school trip to Snowdon because I've never really left England, so I'd love to be able to like just go do something like that.
Well, maybe a road trip is in order.
Oh, good to me. I'd love to do it.
If you're gonna drive all the way there, would it not be bigger and easier to like just go up the pike in the car?
You can't. You literally have to walk it.
You can drive
You
if
can't
you,
off-
if you
you can't
believe
off-road
Hardy.
it.
I have no idea where you would go with that. I'm just like, you have to walk it.
Not like a Top Gear episode where they just do whatever in a sports car or an off-roader. People are like, see, you can do it. It's just walk it because your car will get smashed.
Well, yeah, you can't. There's like no roads. Like you just park up and walk it. That's all it is.
What about a forklift? Because you got to license one of those. Can you get that down it?
Yeah, he goes halfway up, runs out of battery, then just falls down the mountain.
Just bring more batteries. You can keep them on the end of the fork. It's there for. And you can use it to like lift heavy rocks out of the way should they block your path. It's gotten very silly.
Right. Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game podcast. I don't know, these days I think, are we more media game podcast than a video game? But anyway, a video game podcast. I'm Dan, and we're with Brandon and Chris.
What's up?
That's an old one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 31, boys.
Yay.
Getting old.
Tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it.
Well, speaking of something that is in the double digits, you played Megaman 11, didn't you, Chris?
I did. That is something that is double digits. Yeah, I played Megaman 11. I actually put my hand in my pockets and actually bought a game. I know, normally I'd say, like, I think like pretty much every game I spoke about the last few episodes have all been on Game Passes.
I was literally going to say, like, you're like a Game Pass simp.
Well, they're free games. Of course I'm going to play them. Why would I
They're not
play
exactly
them?
free. You pay a subscription for them, don't you?
Well, cheap enough. And anyway, I paid a whopping £8 for Mega Man 11 because there's
You
currently.
doing all right?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'll tell you what. The reason I bought Mega Man 11 is one because I wanted Mega Man 11 because it's been out for like 2-3 years now. No, probably even longer actually, and I haven't actually played it yet. Despicably, when I've finished every other Mega Man title and I haven't got around to it. I've been meaning to for so long, but I hadn't seen it cheap for the longest time, and I finally seen it on sale. I was like, right, now's the time. But the catalyst for me buying it for shelling out that extra £8. So I watched Morbius, and that put me in such a foul mood. I had to cheer myself up.
Is it that bad?
It's that bad. I'll talk about it in more detail shortly.
Yeah.
But for now though, Mega Man 11. If you like the Mega Man games, you'll like this one as well. Chances are you've probably played it by now, and I'm late to the party.
When did it come out? When did Mega Man 11 actually come out?
I think it may be 2018.
Oh, so it is still fairly new. Well, not fairly new,
New-ish.
but it's recent.
It's the most recent one in, like, I
Ah.
suppose the classic series, as they call it.
Yeah,
Like classic Mega Man.
because I have no knowledge on Mega Man. I've never played a Mega Man game, so
Nope.
yeah.
Neither.
I've always wanted
play-
to, but I have no.
Go and play
knowledge.
Mega Man 2 on the NES. That's the best one.
I always hear Mega Man 2 is a great game.
Yeah, yes, it is. Anyway, yeah, I rather like this one, but that was going to be a given anyway. But I do prefer this one more than so many other titles in the same main line. And there's one major reason why. It's because the feedback's amazing. Like all the basic buster shots you do, like your basic ammunition. It feels like it's got some punch to it. Like everything feels way more powerful like the old games. I mean, gameplay wise, the same as they ever were. They just feel like every attack's got some weight behind it. So when you blow up things, it feels really satisfying. Of course, if you don't know, Mega Man, like the classic series, are like 2D sky-scrolling shooters, basically. Renowned for their difficulty.
Really?
They can be. Yeah, the classic Mega Man games are bloody hard. They ease up a little because the gimmick is like after you play them for a bit, you know like the game more. It kind of comes down to skill. It's not about luck. But in most games, there's like 8 robot masters, and each one has a weapon that you get at the end of the level to allow you to. And it's basically the weakness to one of the other robot masters.
Oh,
So it's kind of like a dominoes effect. It's like you beat one boss and you find out which one is weak to him, and then like one by one you sort of topple them down. But it's essentially down to you what order you do them in. You don't have to do it like that. You can beat every boss with like just the buster shot, like your standard shot anyway. Which I know a lot of people do speedruns on that. They do like just the buster only. They don't use like the boss weapons at all. And fair play to those guys, but I ain't doing that. Yeah, but no, Mega Man 11, it is essentially more of the same of like, the old classic series, but there's a couple of other little things that it does. Like you can buy yourself like upgrades between levels because this game's got currency in, but Mega Man 7 did that originally, I believe. But they fleshed it out a bit more. And the upgrades you get, like, they're not like game breaking or anything. It's just little things like you got like a charge shot by default if you hold down the attack button, and you can get like an upgrade to like it will do that automatically even if you're not holding down the attack button. It will just charge. So it's more like quality of life improvements than anything, but it does make every attempt slightly easier. So even if you really are struggling, you can just buy a couple of upgrades and then come back to it. So there is some like element of progression, but it's not over the top or anything. You can buy yourself like extra lives because it's like the classic Mega Man. You get like so many lives to do a mission in. And if you lose all of them, you go right back to the start of the stage. Goes proper old school rules. But I'm fine with that because none of the levels are like too long. If you know what you're doing, and you can blitz through a stage in like less than 5 minutes. So it's not like a huge time sink. But Mega Man 11, though, from what I've played, I haven't beaten the game. I've done, of like the 8 Robot Masters, I've beat like 5 of them at time of recording, because I've only got it this afternoon. I'm having a blast with it. I'm having a mega time, you might say. Yeah.
All you need is to have a mega pint, and be good.
Well, I don't drink anymore, so no, I won't.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mega pint of water.
Yeah, in this heat, yes. Everyone at home, keep drinking. I even know this is 2 weeks later. It might still be hot.
We never know the UK weather. We don't know what's going to happen.
No, it might be a snowstorm this week.
Yeah,
probably most likely.
I have played not much more, but I have played a bit more of Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. And when I said last week last episode that it definitely felt a bit more like, instead of a normal Muso game, like it was more like a Fire Emblem version, it is definitely more like a Fire Emblem version in terms of like progression of a Muso game. Because I mentioned that if your officers die, they actually die, which is not how it normally is in like Dynasty Warriors. So it is definitely more like that. I'm enjoying it, but it is very. I think I went in with the mindset it was going to be more like Hyrule Warriors, and the fact that it's not is nice, but it's also thrown me off. It's kind of not what I expected, but in a good way. But I haven't played loads, so I haven't got much more really to say. But I'm looking forward to playing more. But I think that's near enough all I've got to say about Free Hopes right now.
What about you, Brandon?
I haven't really been playing like an awful lot. Like, I've still been doing my Elden Ring Magic Only playthrough. Like I said, it's my first time ever doing a Magic Only playthrough on either Dark Souls or anything like that. It's really fucking challenging because like I'm really struggling now because I've reached the point where I'm fighting the Glintstone Dragon next to Raya Lucaria. I'm just like, for fuck's sake, he's got high magic res. How the hell am I going to deal with him? So like I'm having to resort to just basically like lower level pyromancy just to get me through. I've been continuing playing Dark Chronicle because I'm platinum chasing that as well. And at the time of recording, I'm now 90 hours into the game and the platinum is still not in sight. Because like there are some things on there, it's like get every medal on every round, but the medal difficulties can vary. So it could be like, oh, complete this floor in like 4 minutes 20, or complete this floor using only your right hand weapon, or catch a 72 centimeter fish on this floor, or the worst one is clear this floor using items only. That is awfully difficult because like some of the items, like elemental based weapons items, they're very like sort of rarish drops. They're like quite uncommon drops, whereas things like bombs and explosives you have to buy, using gold, but in order to get the gold you need to kill the enemies in the first place. It's just like a never-ending cycle of farm, get gold, buy bombs, and hope in the meantime you farm enough weapons to be able to clear an item stage. So I reckon it's going to take me 150 hours plus to get the platinum for this game, and once I do, it's going to be blissful because I'm really enjoying the game still. Like, very long story's still quite nice. Yeah, just still overall enjoying it, even though it is getting quite grindy at the moment.
While you quickly mention Elden Ring, I have a slight confession to make about the game.
What?
I didn't beat my shield only challenge.
Why? What happened?
I got all the way to the final boss, and I was streaming it live, and I did it for like 2 hours straight. I just could not do it. I was more concerned about the boss before, the Horror Loot, and I did him on the second attempt. I was like, oh, okay. Then I think I got like an hour and 40 or so of the stream left to like do the final boss. I couldn't do it. I got to the Elden Beast twice. Once on my second attempt, I thought, okay, this will be fine. I can get here again. And then I didn't get him again until like my 60th attempt. I just didn't get to him again.
Oh gosh,
60th-ish. So it's like two hours worth of attempts. And
so Radagon's that difficult with the shield only?
Yeah, because a lot of his attacks are mostly melee ones, and they've all got some kind of AOE. And of course, me using the shield like a twat. You've got to be in point blank range at all times to even deal damage to him. And of course, I'm like doing no damage. So the few times I did get to Elden Beast, I had like 2 Esthers left, and my Mimic had long gone.
Using Mimic tier.
Yeah, well,
is it straight in Mimic tier, basically using a shield as well?
Yeah, because he's doing exactly what I am, and I felt for the challenges of the rules. It's like I don't see what the problem is because I'm just using shield and he's just a carbon copy of my character. So surely that's fine.
He's
not doing it.
Only.
Yeah, exactly. But, I think bosses like the Godskin duo would be damn right impossible without doing that. When it's like 2-on-1, 3-on-1.
How did you deal with Malekith?
I did him on the second attempt.
How? He
honestly,
jumps all over the place.
Bleed damage. Bleed damage was like my saviour. That got me through like most of the game. So if you're attacking him and your Mimic is, he doesn't actually have all that much health. He's very fast, yeah, but if you can get the right little windows, because you gotta remember he doesn't transform and he's only got 1 health bar between him and like.
Okay, how about Rykard with the shield then? Because I bet that was a pain.
Rykard. No, it wasn't too bad.
But that's just more of an endurance challenge, that one though, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, the only one I've had trouble with is Radagon. And I tell you what, Radagon doesn't bleed. You don't take any bleed damage.
No, because it's Scarlet Rot, isn't it?
No, it's more like holy damage. No. You can apply poison to him, but it does that little, and the poison buff lowers your attack so much it's not worth the trade-off. So I didn't beat it. I was trying to get round to thinking, oh, maybe I will like record it off stream and upload it to YouTube if I can find the motivation, but I haven't yet. I'm sure I will at one point, just to like at closure, just do it in my spare time, but I haven't found the motivation. I think like after like what have I done now? Like 7 playthroughs of it. It's like I think I'm just burnt out on Elden Ring now. I think I just need a break. That was by far the hardest challenge I've done, and I didn't do it. So yeah, I'll put a knot in that one for now. Don't do it.
Well, you have played another game though, haven't you, Chris?
I have, but again, not for very long, which is a shame because I was enjoying it for the timing. I don't know. Some of the older listeners may have heard of an RPG series called The Bard's Tale, which I believe to date has 4 different titles, but I'm no expert on it whatsoever. But I've been playing The Bard's Tale, which was on Game Pass. I didn't pay for this one.
You had to fit that one in, didn't you?
What a surprise. Yeah. But the one I was playing is like the remastered version, which I think came out quite a while ago. I think it may be even as long as like 2012 or around that time. I don't know for certain. But I know it got ported to like iOS devices. And I was going to play it on the iOS originally, on the old iPod, the touchscreen thingy, the tablet. That's it, the tablet. I was going to play it on the tablet, but yeah, touchscreen controls and an RPG just don't mix. So I never give it a fair shot. But I thought I'd try it again, and yeah, it's all right. It's like a top-down RPG. Think of a bit like Diablo, but minus like the loot system. You just like control one character, and the whole premise behind it is like you're just like a traveling bard, and the other companions that you get to fight with you are basically like summons, which you just like use magic to summon up. It's very stripped back. It's like bare bones. It's like you can find like new equipment and items, but they're kind of scripted to a degree. Like you basically find them in like set treasure chests or at merchants. And whenever you get like a better one, it like automatically equips it and like gets rid of your old one. It's that kind of system. So it's very simplistic. But what I did like about it, and I think it's a bit of a cool classic, is it's the writing in it. the writing's like really self-aware. It's like quite meta. It's like takes the piss out of all the tropes. And I think it's like it might be Scottish developers because like all the NPCs are found in it all like Scottish, like they're all like wearing kilts and that kind of thing. It's but it's got like a sort of narrator who says like what's going on, and like the bard himself like chats back to him. And the narrator is like if you like leave the game alone, the narrator will just kick in out after a minute and to say the lines like, and then there was a period where the bard did nothing at all for a while. And if he dies as well, it looks like the bard got what he deserved. But the problem is though, I played it for about 5 hours and I was quite enjoying it, as straightforward as it is. But I got to a bit where you got like an NPC who like follows you and he's meant to like disable these magic barriers after you've like defeated these enemies. And did that fine for the first few times, and then I just got up to a certain point in the map where he's meant to do that, and the character runs up to the barriers he would do normally, and then nothing happened. He didn't do anything. So I reloaded, and the same thing happened. I'm not sure.
Glitch in the system.
Say again?
There's been a bit of a glitch in the system.
Yeah, just a bit. It's the only one I've noticed though, but it's kind of a game-breaking one. I don't know if I leave the area and come back, I can sort it, but just on reloading a save, it didn't work. So I don't know. I'll try it again, but that's as far as I got anyway. So about 5 hours in. I do recommend it. It's if you want a top-down RPG that's pretty straightforward, then yeah, go for it.
Well, since you did mention it, maybe you should elaborate on how you felt about Morbius.
Morbius. I'll tell you what, before I do, let's draw it out of it. Before we talk about Marvel, do you want to talk about a potentially good Marvel one? Dan?
Alright, okay. So, I have
That's already just spoilers for Morbius further then. If you say a potentially good one, just completely discounting Morbius.
Was it any surprise?
Okay, so I did see Thor Love Thunder last Thursday, as of time recording. I think the day it came out, I believe. I'm not sure. I think so. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into it because I know Chris wants to see it. Okay, I enjoyed it. I'll say that, but I have a lot of problems with it. There were a lot of things I liked, a lot of things I didn't like. How I felt about the film was how I expected it to be was exactly what it was. My opinion of what the film would be has not changed seeing the film. There were things that occurred in the film that did take me by surprise in a good way, and some other things that were disappointing. I just think in general with Phase 4, I think the only property of Phase 4. Say only property. The only property only thing in Phase 4 that kind of has any meaning on the future of Marvel is Loki, and that's really frustrating because you're watching all these films and all these TV shows, and when I finished Thor Love Thunder, and I'm also going to tie in Miss Marvel, because I caught up with Miss Marvel yesterday. Even with like that, even just with everything in Phase 4 except Loki, I just thought, what is the goal here? What is this all leading to? Nothing feels tied. Nothing feels connected. Not like it was in the early phases. Everything feels so disjointed. I'm enjoying it, but to a certain degree, it's leaving a disappointed taste in my mouth. I kind of just want everything to be more connected like it was prior. And I know people have been like, oh yeah, they're just building the characters up again. It's like, yeah, okay, but they did that in a better way, like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. Like, it feels like they've just lost something, and I don't know why. And it's.
I was going to say, do you think it might be because it's like in this case, like it's a character for himself? Like the Avengers have like had their story, it's peaked, it's done. Now there's like no real reason to keep them around, so they don't really need to tie into the new generation. It's like that's it. They just feel like, oh, they're here just to sort of like give them a bit more credibility to the newer characters.
I understand that they want to bring the new characters, to the forefront. I get that, and I think like we should have that. Like Kate Bishop in Hawkeye was I thought was a great protagonist. I'm very happy that she was the main character of Hawkeye over Clint Barton. Although, yeah, you could say he was still the main character. I think it was more Kate Bishop than Clint Barton. But like right now, most of it just seems to be the aftermath of Endgame, which is fair enough. But then it's also not enough. It's like, even with Multiverse of Madness, I just don't feel like, yeah, we have the multiverse, but it just I don't know. I felt like there was going to be a connection to Loki, and there just wasn't, and it just felt a bit, I don't know, it just felt a bit frustrating. And even like watching Love and Thunder, like I said, it was exactly what I expected it to be, and I've come away being like, yeah, I enjoyed a lot of it, but I also didn't enjoy lots of it, and even like, in a weird way, it kind of felt, I don't know, I don't really want to go into too many spoilers either, so I don't know, I kind of don't know really what I want to say without spoiling it, so I'm probably going to leave it, but, you know, I just feel like whatever happens going forward with Marvel, they need a game plan again, because otherwise I think I'm just gonna really not care about the MCU anymore as much as I did, because right now nothing feels connected. Yeah, you had WandaVision into a multiverse of madness, but there needs to be more of that. Why, like, if Loki feels like the start of where Phase 4 or where the future of Marvel is going, but nothing's connected to it. And it's like, I don't know why. You could have had a connection in Multiverse of Madness. You could have had a connection in maybe No Way Home, maybe not. They could have done so many things. They could have connected other shows and films. They could have connected so much more. Eternals is just such a... It's just a film that exists and has, except the fact that it's in that universe, has no connection to anything and everything. And it's a bit like... I just want to see everything move forward. We knew Thanos was coming, and so we knew it was all building to him, but there's just not that build up at all, and it's a bit like, I don't know, everything just feels like, I don't know, everything feels a bit underwhelming or a bit dissatisfying. I'm still enjoying everything to a point, but it's not like it was in Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. I don't know.
So I think I may agree with you when you say like it lacks the connectivity, because that's one of the things that was really, really good about the Phase 2 and 3 is like just if not just like little references, then like the actual plot coming through. Say for example like the Winter Soldier, how it ties in with Bucky Barnes, but then that's like the precursor to like Civil War. Like that's a really strong point. But then even little things like Doctor Strange is like, oh, why is Wong the Sorcerer Supreme? It's like, well, I got it on a technicality because there was the blip and he weren't here for 5 years, so I got it by default. Little things like that, great. But as you say, like with like the series that are coming out, and there's quite a lot of series, I'm kind of reaching a point now. Is like, are these actually like essential viewing to the cinematic universe, or are all these more like one shots? Is Moon Knight ever going to tie in, for example, or is it that's that series and that's it? Are they worth my time investing? Because obviously WandaVision tied into like Multiverse of Madness, but how are these other ones going to tie in? Are they just their own thing, or what? Because they don't feel, connected enough. They just feel like they're their own thing at the moment.
You know what's bad is it feels the TV shows to a certain point feel more connected than the films, and I think that's also really frustrating. Like,
I'd have to see Love and Thunder to obviously see this for myself.
This is not really anything to do with Love and Thunder. I think just like I think Love and Thunder just carries on how I think some of the recent Marvel films have just been, where it's just not really much connected. Like I don't know. They clearly there are things in Love and Thunder I was just like, whoa! Like there was one of the post-credit scenes. I was when it happened, I had this massive grin on my face. But like a whole load of, I think most people in the cinema were like, "Huh? What?" But I had this massive grin, and like, you know, there are still things to be excited with, but it's also like, well, you know, how is Thor Love and Thunder gonna connect to the bigger picture? How is Eternals gonna connect to the bigger picture? Right now, I have no idea. They're drip feeding little things, but it's like it's not enough. Like even Multiverse of Madness, when they was it Charlie Theron, when she appears in the post-credit scene, it was a bit like, what the fuck? How is this a good post-credit scene? It just came out of absolute nowhere, and it's just really, yeah, okay, you have a new character, but it just feels so frustrating and unsatisfying in a weird way. Except, yeah, you have this new character, but we know nothing about them. It, like, even Eternals brought in its post-credit scenes, new characters in a better way than Multiverse of Madness did in its post-credit scenes.
Well, they actually explained who they were, weren't they? They said, "Oh, he's like the brother of."
Yeah, you know, and like clearly everything. Clearly, they want to build everything towards something, but I just think there needs to be a bit more connection. But I guess to round up, in like I said, I know I started on Thor Love and Thunder. If all I'll say is, if you liked Ragnarok, you will like Love and Thunder. But if there were things you didn't like about Ragnarok, those things are still in Love and Thunder and are worse. So I think Ragnarok is the best of the four films. But
it's the forerunner.
I don't know. I don't think Marvel know what they want to do with Thor. I think they did, and then they didn't. I think Infinity War was the best Thor has ever been, and then they didn't know what to do with him again.
I can't see how like the MCU could possibly top that. Like you have like all the characters that people care about in this gigantic like climactic battle, and it's fantastic. But how the hell are they going to top that? I can only guess like they're going to go with like Galactus as like the next big bad, but.
Well, I think it's going to be Kang the Conqueror because he appears in Loki. But the thing is, nothing's come about it since. So it's like, I have no idea what they're trying to do. So.
Nah. But what about Miss Marvel? Did you want to talk a bit more about that?
All I'd say is, yeah, that show has an identity crisis. It doesn't know if it wants to be a show about a teen in school or to be something about, I don't know, whatever it wants to be. It doesn't know what it wants to do. I did really enjoy episode 4, to be fair, but I watched the latest episode last night. The end, like the cliffhanger, was quite honestly one of the worst either written or no, I wouldn't say it's written. What would be? It's probably the worst. I'm probably gonna not think of the word, but it's probably the worst cliffhanger I've seen someone. I can't even think of the word, but like, however they structured the episode. The cliffhanger it ends on is like, it's not a bad cliffhanger, but the way it's kind of shot and shown is horrendous. It's quite honestly one of the worst things I've ever seen. It got to it, and I was like, there's 5 minutes of this episode left that is just credits, and they've left it on it. Basically, it's an unfinished scene. It ends on an unfinished scene, and I can't even believe it ended on that.
Have you ever done this like with shows when you know it's like the finale and you're looking at the runtime thing? It's only got 15 minutes left. How the hell are they going to tie this up?
I think it's going to be another rush finale. Whatever. I think I just want more connectivity from the MCU in Phase 4, and it's just not a thing. And I think I don't want to be harsh, but I feel like I have to. I think the best three things of Phase 4 are Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Hawkeye, and that's it. I would say everything is okay afterwards.
Don't you be forgetting Papa Pizza now?
Who? What?
Papa Pizza, Multiverse of Madness. Come on. Bruce Campbell. He's the best thing about Phase 4. No?
My silence says it all.
I want my Papa Pizza.
I know I like Bruce Campbell, but, you know...
I want that. It's confirmed. There's a whole multiverse of Bruce Campbells out there. Can you imagine? That includes Evil Dead 1. Make that happen. Make Marvel vs. Zombies already.
I will say that Natalie Portman as the Mighty Thor, she was good. To be fair, she was really good in Love and Thunder. I was quite surprised, actually.
You know what? I was quite surprised to see her come back. I mean, I suppose it makes... Well, I haven't seen the film, but I suppose it makes sense for her to come back as Jane.
Well,
I'm presuming that's what happens, but but she went on record saying she didn't want to work with Marvel and that.
Well, what I've heard about Natalie Portman with the MCU is that when they did Dark World, I think there were a few... Well, with how Dark World turned out, I think there were a lot of production issues, and I think it was going to be a different director, and I think they wanted to do a certain thing with Jane Foster, and then that got completely scrapped, and so she was a bit like, yeah, whatever, I'll do Dark World, and then I'm not really going to do much more. And then I think because of Taika Waititi, she's come whatever she wanted with Jane Foster has kind of been either rectified or reevaluated, and that's why she's come back.
Fair enough, yeah, because like the whole tone of like the last 2-4 films are completely different to the first two, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't even know if to say for better or for worse. I don't know. I guess my problems with Ragnarok are still there in Love and Thunder, but you know, I think if you loved Ragnarok, I know people that put Ragnarok in like their top MCU films. I think you're gonna absolutely have an absolute blast with Love and Thunder. But if you had any gripes over Ragnarok, you're not gonna enjoy Love and Thunder as much.
Fair enough. I mean, I quite like Ragnarok myself. So.
I said, like, the villain of Love and Thunder is actually, he's good, but he needed more.
I've heard he's barely in it.
No, he's in it quite a bit. He needed more screen time. He needed more development. I don't think his motivation or as a character he's weak. His writing's weak. I think there just wasn't enough. I think if there'd been more, he would have been one of the best Marvel villains. I think his motivation and everything is actually solid. It just wasn't enough of it. I spoke to one of my workmates today, and he was like, you know what they could have done? They could have set him up in a different Marvel film and had him doing things before Love and Thunder, and even that, I was like, that would have made it really cool. But at the same time, I also thought, what film could you set it up in? Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I suppose you could have stood a post-credit scene with him.
Maybe.
Just something.
Well, right now, I love the MCU, but I just want Phase 4 to connect. I just want it to be more connected, and I think that's my problem. It's not because it's not like things are. I'm still enjoying things, the content that's coming out. I just want it to connect, and it's not, and it's just frustrating. But anyway, onto another Marvel film, Morbius.
Yes, but before I talk about Morbius,
Oh my God.
Brandon's been quiet for quite a while. Does Brandon want to say something?
I'm still yet to catch up with a lot of the Marvel stuff, so I've got really nothing I can really contribute to anything you guys have said. It's still on my to-do list of while I've got my annual leave is to start smashing through the Marvel films.
What you should do, Brandon, is try and watch one a week. That's what I did for the lead up to Endgame, and you'll be surprised how quickly you get through them all.
That's what I mean. I'm going to do because I booked my annual leave from like now till September, where I basically have like Wednesday afternoons, Thursdays, and Fridays off work. So I'm just thinking, I can easily just do like a couple during then. It's just getting a bit of motivation to do it because I'm just so heavily watching things like, when Stranger Things was releasing, which we'll talk about later. That's all I wanted to do was just watch Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
But then there's just like, it's just trying to find the motivation. Like also at the moment, I really want to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. So like I'm on Salazar's Revenge, and when that's done, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So probably once I've done that, I'll probably then turn more of my attention to the Marvel films.
Yeah, I don't know. I think even with how I've been in recent years, if there's something I want to watch, I try and be like, right, this year I'm going to watch this show or this group of things, and then try and make sure, if possible, I can. Like I know one year I wanted to watch, was it JoJo, Steins Gate, and I can't remember the third one. But I didn't manage to watch Steins Gate that year. Obviously, I've now watched it this year, which is fair enough. I've watched it eventually. But, I had a plan of, these are the things I want to try and get through that year. And for the most part, I did. Oh, it was Hunter, that was what it was. And for the most part, I did. And even when, on the lead up to Endgame, I was like, right, I'm going to watch a Marvel film each week. So it'd be like, first week of January, Iron Man. So like mid-February, I'll be on to Phase 2. I think it's my birthday week. I get onto Phase 3. I think I worked out. So you get through them quite quickly. You just gotta like plan it all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's the plan. Like between now and September is now that I've got my annual leave, they'll give me something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was you saying about Morbius?
Is the film?
Yes, Morbius. Finally, we'll get round to Morbius. I shan't tantalise it too any longer. So, I actually watched two films today. I watched Morbius and I watched Birds of Prey as well. So. I haven't got a great deal to say about either. So, I suppose because I've not had much time to reflect on either. But, my thoughts. Let's get Morbius done and out of the way. So this film is like the one film in all of history to actually bomb at the box office twice. That's never been done before. So, if you don't know, it came out, it bombed. But people are throwing around these memes on the internet so much that that Sony in their infinite wisdom decided to re-release it again, going on like the meme hype, and it just didn't work. People were saying, "Oh, maybe we should start making memes about it again, see if they'll do it for a third time."
Yeah.
What's the fuck with them?
They were like, people are talking about Morbius, let's release it to the box office again.
Yeah, quick, see if we can make some money back. Yeah, I can kind of see why this bombed twice. There's nothing redeeming about it. It's bad. It's it's like the most transparent script in the world. It's like they just pieced it together from sugar packets. It's just like it's like the bare bones script. It's basically it's Jared Leto and Matt Smith as like the main antagonist. They were kids when younger. They were both sick. Jared Leto finds a cure. Matt Smith goes mad, so he ends up being evil for evil's sake, and that's pretty much your plot. There's some special effects where they jump around a bit and be a bit vampiric. There's nothing groundbreaking. The film really likes to do these shots where it does slow-mo for like a couple of seconds, like like it's doing like fast action, and it goes just before it hits something, and then slows right down for a couple of seconds and then speeds up again. It does that a fair few times. But the thing is, it's meant to be like this vampire film, and they say like, they're drained of all their blood, and some of the attacks, it looks like they've done like some really visceral attacks, like clawed the face off. But because of like the rating, there's like barely any violence, and it doesn't make sense. It's like to its detriment. It's like you see this guy clearly getting like his face clawed, and then it cuts to him just like holding his face, and nothing's happened to him. He looks the same. He's just got his hand up to his face as if to say, "Ow." That's it. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's just bad. The only good thing I can say about it is Matt Smith, as you may know, is like the actor for like Doctor Who for a series or two. He looks like he's having a blast. He looks like he knows he's in a shit film, but he's going to ham it up a bit, because he does. He looks like he's the only one having fun.
I really do like Jared Leto as an actor, but he's so hit and miss. He'll either absolutely hit it out the park, or he's just the shittest actor in the film.
Yeah, I don't know if you know much about Jared Leto's, shall we say, personal life. Do you know he's about all these like his cult, and he's got his own island called Mars Island, and
no, but it doesn't surprise me.
And he's got so many allegations against him. It's
really.
Yeah, he's like a rap sheet. It's like, oh dear.
What's Mars done to him?
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I think when it was in 30 Seconds to Mars, it was fine then, and then something happened overnight, and he's I don't know. He started acting, and then sort of like method acting really serious, and he's just gone off the rails a bit, I think. But yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that. Shall we say? Yeah.
Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was better. Birds of Prey. Right. So, Birds of Prey, or to give it its full title, Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So, this is a weird one, because I thought it's like sort of tied in more with the Suicide Squad, and it does a bit because it's like the same Harley Quinn, and it's set in the same sort of universe, but it feels so detached from everything else. It's like its own little bubble.
Somewhat is really.
Yeah, well, I suppose, but yeah, there are some things I do like about this one. Like, it's not Morbius, so that's one point in its favour. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, this film. It does what it wanted to do, perfectly serviceable. This one, from what I gather, has got the sort of like middling reviews, and I can see why. It's very average, I'd say. There's a couple of things, like the pacing seems really off, and how it's structured seems weird. Like, for example, like there's so many characters in it, which is fine, but they're introducing like a new major character like 45 minutes before the film's that's with credits as well. So let's say like half hour before the film's done, they're like introducing a new character. It's like you're a bit late to the party, aren't you? And it's like one of the main gangs, so like the character of Huntress. And yeah, I know this is based more on like the comic book, and I think there was a TV show of it as well that got cancelled as well, called obviously Birds of Prey, and that's like focuses on like Huntress and Black Cat, and the other one whose name I can't remember already after watching it today. But I feel like they just put like Harley Quinn in it to sort of give it a bit more of a boost. But obviously the whole film revolves around her. But one thing I really did like, and it's got Ewan McGregor as the villain, Black Mask. And you may know Black Mask if you've played like Arkham Origins, because that's the only thing I know him from. Obviously, I know he's like a main Batman villain. But here he's like
Arkham City as well.
Yeah, I believe he is. Yeah, is he just in the intro of that? And he like disappears.
I'm not. I think I don't know because he's fighting Two-Face. I can't remember how. It's been a while, so I can't remember how long.
It's been a long while. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I really like Ewan McGregor's character. It's strange. He's he plays his character kind of straight, like he hams it up a little bit, but he plays it up like he's sort of like a mafia sort of gangster thing, which he basically is. But he's got a sadistic side as well, and he seems to take like great pleasure in it, like doing like really nasty things to people, like basically torturing them. And he's like doing like a little dance, and he's like getting happy about it. And he plays it up, and it's like corny and campy, but fun as well, in a weird way. Mm. I don't know how to say it. It looks like Ewan McGregor's having a good time. Again, basically what Matt Smith was doing in Morbius, but better. There's one good action sequence. Like there's a fight in like a fun house, which is basically the climax of the film. I thought was very good. It was a bit, it's quite creative, some of the stunts, but it didn't really last all that long. It's only like a couple of minutes, and I felt that's how more of the film should have been, given the premise and how like out there it is. But I feel it plods along too slowly, and then it like really ramps up for like 10 minutes near the end. It goes all balls out, and then the final sort of confrontation payoff is so underwhelming. It's like, oh, is that it? And it's like the post credits like bit. Well, not actually. No, there's no post credits. Actually, it's not Marvel. It's DC. It's just normal. It's just kind of like ties it up. But I don't know. This feels like it could have been a made-for-TV thing and not a full-on film. It's got that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it for yourself? Like,
no.
Yes.
I was not interested. I'm not saying I'm not interested, but I wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. It didn't really feel like it needed to be a film, and I've seen mixed reviews. I know my dad said he enjoyed it, but I don't know. I'm not really interested. I think if it was on like, I don't know, TV or something, I had nothing to watch, maybe I'd watch it. But I think it's something. I don't think I'd lose anything by never watching it.
Well, it came on Amazon Prime, and that's why I watched it. Because it was all over the banners. It's like, oh, this is out to watch now. I was like, oh, fine, I'll watch that. If anything, more for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it. Yeah. Let's see.
It was fine. I'd describe it as average.
I'd literally say the same. It was just a fun watch. It wasn't anything special. It was just something you could just watch over like every now and then, just to relax.
Oh, so you have seen it, Emblem?
What, Birds of Prey? Yeah.
I didn't realise that. So, do you have anything to add, or?
No, it's literally, it's just like a nonsensical. Like I watched it, I did come out feeling, oh wow, that's a good film, but I also didn't leave that place going, like, oh, it was a shit film. It just felt.
It happened, and now you just move on.
Like it happened, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it's. Didn't it come out just before COVID hit, or
pretty
much? Yeah, so they came out in cinema and then no one saw it.
I think it came out.
Yeah, because there was literally like 5 of us in there.
No idea.
Yeah, because I was just like very confused of how it worked with the timeline. Because like, hang on, Harley Quinn's in the film, but haven't they just had Suicide Squad and another Suicide Squad? I was getting very confused. It's like,
yeah.
It's like to this point, I was like, is this the same film? Is it Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad? It's like an alternate title, or I don't know. I was that confused when it first came out. Because it's like the same character. Like, it's like, how does this make sense timeline wise? Let's not overthink it. it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is, but don't go not expecting anything. Just watch it.
Yeah. It feels like nothing's lost, nothing's gained. It was just like sort of filler, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I might put it on when I do some miniatures, maybe doing some painting. Might put it on. Might be something good. Yeah, that might be a good shout.
I think what he's trying to do is like set up the birds of prey, like minus Harley Quinn later on. Like if they get like the other 3 girls that are in it, and just detach Harley from Suicide Squad, but they just put her in it. But her story's like all wrapped up, but it feels like it's just like a jumping off point for the rest. But I don't know if anything's ever going to happen with it, and I'm guessing not.
I doubt nothing will, because there's nothing necessarily unique about them.
Nah, they're just sort of there, and it's like girl 1, girl 2, girl 3.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, because you got Huntress and Canary, and I don't know who else, but like Huntress and Canary are decent characters, but from everything I've seen of Birds of Prey, it just doesn't look like they do them justice at all.
It really is just basically just a Harley show. Also there,
because Canary's in Arrow, the TV show Arrow, and she's really, even in that, she's really good. And that's like, that's for that, and it's also got Black Canary. You got 2 canaries, and even then, and maybe it's a bit unfair because it's a TV show, but it's not like Huntress and Canary are bad characters. It might be like they're just underdeveloped and just nothing compared to Harlequin.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I know we have Stranger Things to talk about, but I thought we'd talk about The Boys season 3, and then
stick with superhero theme.
Yeah, and then we'll go into Stranger Things Part 2, Volume 2, the last 2 episodes. Yeah. So
we're talking spoilers.
Yeah,
it has been out a couple of weeks. Good.
Yeah.
So, if if you don't want to hear spoilers for The Boys or
Stranger Things
or Stranger Things 2, skip to whatever time code that we haven't put in yet.
So
I'm sure Dan will.
Maybe not.
That's it.
So The Boys season 3, Chris.
I quite like The Boys. It's pretty good.
It's a good show.
It's better than Morbius.
To be honest, probably better than most of the things we spoke about on this podcast, right to this moment. I thought this season was out the park. It was incredible.
It was rather jolly.
The only thing I will say is the Herogasm episode. I thought the warning was a bit like fair enough, but I also didn't think it wasn't that bad. I expected worse, and I was a bit like, well, yeah, I can understand why they put it there, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't see the warning they put on there as like an actual warning. I saw it as more of a joke because it outright made me laugh. I got like real South Park vibes. Like, they put at the beginning of the episode, this is parody and shouldn't be watched by anyone. I thought they were doing that because that's how it read. It just made me laugh. Like right at the end, it's like all you need to know is like this isn't suitable for anyone, but it was hilariously expensive to do.
No, it was I'm like, I forget how. I don't know what his name is, what the actor's name is as Homelander, but he plays Homelander so well.
Anthony Starr, is it?
Yeah, Anthony Starr. Every time he just knocks it out the park as Homelander. He's just so good.
I've got to be honest, with the exception of Carl Urban, I don't think I've seen any of these actors in anything else. I'm sure they have. Obviously, they have been, but nothing I've...
The woman who plays Himiko, she's in the first Suicide Squad film.
Oh, yeah, for like a minute.
No, she's Katana. She's in it quite a bit.
About 2 minutes.
Otherwise, I don't know who else I've seen. I don't. There's a few like smaller actors. But otherwise, no, I don't really think I've seen many others.
No, well, I think like Anthony Starr doesn't need to star in anything ever again. He's just Homelander, isn't he?
I think I think he'd be an absolutely fantastic Reverse Flash.
Couldn't tell you. I don't know anything about the Flash.
He would be fantastic as Reverse Flash if he wanted to do that. But because the way he looks as Homelander is very similar to I'm gonna forget his first name, but as Reverse Flash, I can't remember his. I know it's Fawn, but I can't remember the Reverse Flash's first name. But yeah, he would be. I think he'd be a fantastic Reverse Flash if DC ever did Reverse Flash. I think he'd be great. But as Homelander, he's fantastic. Even going. Okay, we're gonna go full spoilers. Even at the end, even in the final episode, where he like finds his son again, I really felt for Homelander in a weird way. Although he's meant to be the main antagonist, there was something like really, I don't know. Something I liked the conversation he had with his son about his son's like, you're like. You hate me. It's like, are you mad at me? He's like, no, it was an accident. And it was like, I don't know. I really liked that that scene, and I don't know. I just really liked it.
I've seen like people saying like the climax to it is more character driven than it is like action packed.
I have no problem with that.
Oh hell no.
No.
I mean, I love a good action scene. Don't get me wrong, it's got action in it, but it's not the focus.
I think this season definitely felt more character driven in what it was. So I think it needed to have a bit more of a character driven finale than, let's say, season 2, which that ending for season 2 was so action packed. Whereas I think with all the character drama this season 3 had, I think it needed something very character driven for its finale.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of criticism, and I'm not sure where I stand with it, but I do like it, I guess. How like Maeve like tackles Soldier Boy out. So Soldier Boy's, I guess, like the antagonist of this series by Homelander.
Yeah.
But when she takes him out, there's like a big explosion. People are a bit split because it turns out they're both okay. But the thing is, we know there's a season 4 coming already before it drops. So I'm fine to see more of them. Like I'm okay with that. I suppose it feels like it's a little anticlimactic because you feel like you've had all this build up to this face off, and then just to find out they're both okay, it feels like it's had some weight shifted from it. It didn't feel as final as it could have been.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I guess in the season 3 does feel like it's in a bit of a weird place, because to a certain degree it felt like a lot of things kind of reset in a weird way.
It's like they've got to keep the status quo to a degree.
Yeah. I think for the most part, I think season 3 might be the strongest season, but I don't know. I definitely like. I really enjoyed Soldier Boy, and I even like the way with the the Temp V and how that affected Huey and Butcher. It was pretty funny.
I just like the whole Soldier Boy character, just as a sort of inverted parody of Captain America.
Yeah.
What if Captain America was a dickhead, isn't it? Essentially. Yeah, I did like what I do with it. I'm worried like it may have some of the comparisons a bit on the nose. Like I say, like Soldier Boy is clearly Captain America, isn't he? Right?
Oh yeah.
There's no argument about it. I don't know if that's trying to take the piss out of Marvel too much, or but he's still a solid enough character to keep things entertaining. And like it was always interesting when he was on the screen as to what's going to happen, because he's got like PTSD. You're never sure how each scene with him was going to go. He's like, so half the time when I'm having a conversation with him, you don't know if he's going to kick off or whether he's just going to say, "Okay, just carry on."
Yeah, it definitely had a lot of interesting moments. Of like just the whole like the Hero-gasm episode had there were loads of moments in that. I don't think we can really maybe say on the podcast, but it had a lot of interesting moments that I know after I was going to my to people like, oh, this moment that was so funny. Oh, this moment was really good and that. But you know, I think season 3 did try to do a few different things, and maybe some of it worked, maybe some of it didn't. But I still think it was a very strong season.
There's one bit which caught me off guard a little bit because I wasn't sure what to make of it. And I think, is it the 5th episode where they suddenly like break out into like a musical number for Yumiko for like a minute? I was like, the fuck am I watching?
I think it's either episode 4 or episode 3, I think. I can't remember. I don't think it's episode... It might be episode 4 because I know episode 5 is where they get more Compound V and give it to her.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Either way, that's the only part of the series I sort of raised an eyebrow at.
Yeah, it was a bit of a...
I know this is like clearly a dream sequence, but the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I definitely felt Frenchie felt a lot very downplayed this season. I don't know if it was just me who thought that, but he definitely took a big backseat this season compared to everyone else.
I liked his little outburst in the last episode where he just has a go at Butcher. It's like, no, we want a dental plan.
Like MM had a very good arc this season.
I think everyone's had quite a good arc, because I think probably at the moment, like before the series, I think my least favourite characters was A-Train. I just didn't think it was all that interesting. But I like what they've done with him more in this season. Having that sort of a rally thing that just goes completely sideways was funny.
It's not Deep then. I think the Deep's the most pointless, the most boring character. I'm just like, every time especially season 2, I was just like, what have they got in store for the Deep? Because I'm just kind of rolling my eyes whenever he's on the screen. He was a bit better this season, but not that much more. Still, some of the things he was doing, I was just a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake. So, I guess, yeah, maybe that is his character, I guess. Maybe that's that's his character through and through, and I have to deal with that. But, you know, I was still a bit like, oh my gosh.
It just makes me laugh, like, every time he's on the screen, because all I can think of is Troy McClure from The Simpsons. He's like, I thought you said he was dead. No, what I said was he sleeps with the fishies.
But Boys season 3, good season.
Yep, very good. Like, best season so far, I feel. Although, if you want to see the worst in humanity, like, I can't remember if I said this on the last podcast episode, but cut this out if I have. But if you want to see the worst in humanity, just go on the Amazon Prime on the review sections for The Boys.
Oh yeah, you did.
And
yeah.
I did say this. Okay, cut this bit.
Yeah.
All right, and so that was The Boys. So, shall we talk about things that are stranger?
Yeah, that'd be quite a strange thing to do, won't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. After the Hero-gasm episodes, it's a bit hard to get a bit stranger than that.
Well, so I managed to watch this on the last 2 episodes on the day it came out. So I watched them and I was like, oh, right, I'm sorted for the rest of the weekend. I really liked them.
They were really, really nice. The fact that the very last one was over 2 hours long, like, they really put them into it, didn't they?
They could have cut it into 3
they easily
episodes.
could have made them. Yeah,
They literally could have cut it into 3 episodes. Like, fair enough, but they could have cut it into 3 episodes.
Well, I actually cancelled the stream because we watched like the penultimate episode, and I was watching it with the folks, and all 3 of us were like, "We need to see what happens next." It was like, "Sorry guys, I'm not streaming." I would have done, but unfortunately, the last episode's 2.5 sodding hours, so there's no way. If it was like an hour long, and yeah, sure, no problem. But nope, I'm watching this instead. I'm sure you understand. We need to know what happens before the internet ruins it.
Oh, and boy, the internet is ruining it, aren't they?
Oh god, yeah. I've seen Eddie Munster on my timeline so much, more than any of my friends.
I was literally going to say that I'm seeing Eddie Munson freaking everywhere.
Oh yeah. Can't remember who. Oh yeah. 2 of my mates when I went on Saturday when I went round after I came back from the Lake District, they were like, "Yeah, we bought the Hellfire T-shirts." I was like, "All right, okay, yeah." So everyone's getting in on the craze. One of my mates went to a Comic-Con on Saturday. He said the thing that he saw the most were Hellfire T-shirts. So everyone's getting in on it. So
It's just typical, because like, and then all of a sudden everyone's just like, "Oh, Eddie Munson would have been like a great guy to hang around with," but then everyone's basically like backseating saying, "Yeah, but if you were in that school at that time period, would you have hung around with a nerd? Probably not."
I was that nerd at high school. I was a good kid.
I am that nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know one of the better things I've seen on it. It's like you see Metallica's done quite well out of this, obviously. But
Oh yeah.
but did you see their little like post? Like someone was like gatekeeping, was like saying, "Oh, you're not real fans of Metallica," and they responded back saying like, "It doesn't matter if you like only like Metallica for like 4 hours or 40 years. It's like our music's available for everyone. Chances are, if they like Master of Puppets, they're gonna like something else as well."
Yeah.
It's like fair play.
I saw a meme earlier. I mean, it's kind of linked to Stranger Things, but it is more a Metallica meme where it is saying, "Oh yeah, listen to I can't remember what exactly, but it was like, yeah, Metallica, you can listen to our music anywhere, especially Napper of Puppets. Is that right? Napper of Puppets?
Napster of Puppets.
Napster of Puppets, yeah. I was just like, oh, that's brilliant. I can't remember the meme, but it was basically like saying about, it was basically quoting a Napster from the controversies of Napster with them, and just listening to their music. I can't remember the meme, but it was one of those, if you know, you know. I might try and find it, but it was funny. But no, I after I watched it, I think it was a couple of days later, I had to re-listen to the whole of Master of Puppets, the album. I just had to.
Well, I do like that once a week anyway.
But
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to Stranger Things, the actual series soundtrack. It's pretty good, wasn't it? I like the things that happened. They were
Yeah.
good.
I'm pretty much the same. I thought everything sort of went quite nicely.
Yeah. Well, not for the characters in it. Do we know when season 5's coming out? I don't think they've stated when. I know they said the 5 will be it. That'll be done. now.
They
That's gonna be
said,
it.
I've read, it is in at least 2 years.
I'm going to say they're going to have to hurry up and record something because all the characters are going to be too old.
I'll say the kids are growing up. Like,
Well,
I don't know if you guys noticed, but Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but the actor for Mike sort of looked a bit unwell. I don't know if that's just me, but you saw his jawlines and everything quite prominent, didn't you?
He kind of looked like that in Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah, he just didn't look quite right. If they're getting to get older, it's just like, is the charm still necessarily going to be there? And also, just to go back to Eddie Munson, people have actually filed like a petition to try and bring Eddie Munson back. To which I think the Duffer Brothers were just like, the bats don't necessarily kill people. So we're just like, sort of an open-ended thing right there.
I think after the scene with Dustin talking to his uncle, that would undo so much weight from it if they did that. It's like, yeah, it'll feel like a cop-out. I don't think that'll go down well. So, I mean, this is a lot of what a lot of creators say. I can't remember which creators said it. I think it's like a video game producer. It's like they say the phrase like, you don't want what you think you want. You think you want this, but you don't really want that.
yeah.
Because it will never live up to your expectations. It will never live up to your expectations. We don't know exactly how you think, and we're trying to cater to everyone. Yeah. So we're giving you something new and something that's going to, I don't know, give you something different. Give you a new set of experiences, not retread old ground.
I guess, like, now the whole of season 4 is out, do we think it was the best season of Stranger Things so far, or not? I don't know. I feel I want to say yes, but then I've not rewatched the first 3 seasons, so I don't know.
Did.
So I don't know.
Me personally, I'd say it's a close contender for me personally. Either way, it's definitely not season 3. It's definitely not season 3. But I'm sort of torn. It's just like 4, 1, and 2. Oh, right. But then again, the only thing which I didn't like from 2 is just how irrelevant the other Esper was. She was just there in the New York City bit, the crime bit, and just vanished from existence. It's just like, if she had more character development, I'd say 2 could have been quite nice.
I was kind of expecting them to like make a comeback at some point, but
That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, surely she's got to come back. Maybe she's going to be the one to help deal with Vecna. But no, she just completely just disappears.
yeah, I think now if they did, it would be too late. Like
It is too late.
People thinking, who the fuck are these guys again? It's like in one episode, and then just like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the writers were just on holiday that week and had to put something out. So, yeah, strange on that.
It's just like each of the series have their own charms. It's
Yeah.
just like trying to piece together like what charms are the best. Like for me, I really enjoyed, finding out exactly who Vecna was. That mystery was great. I really, really enjoyed that. The only gripe I had with season 4 was that CGI of when he went into the Upside Down for the first time. That was just weird. But aside from that, season 4 was quite strong in my opinion. Like at the start of season 4, when 11 was basically still thinking she had her powers in the roller skating rink, I just couldn't watch because I was just getting secondhand embarrassment. I was like, "Elle, please no, don't do that. Please don't do that." And then obviously the fight happens.
Where the hell was the management in that roller rink? They'd never allow that kind of shit to happen.
That was 1880s, mate.
Yeah, still. It's not just that, is it? They'll never fly. No wonder it's closed down and doesn't exist. No, I think it's like, you can't really say with a show like Stranger Things, you can't say which series is the best because the whole thing's like an ongoing narrative. It will flow with it. So you can't really say 3 was bad, but 2 was great.
I'm not saying 3 was bad. It's just for me, it's not 3. I mean, I like the mystery build-up of Billy and the fleshy monster because it sort of felt Saw-esque. Like how certain horror series they'll have some sort of one particular a psychological-ish more episode of you trying to sort of think what's going on. So like an example I'll use of this is like Starship Troopers 2. Like Starship Troopers 1, which was, the shooter. And Starship Troopers 2 was like the psychological, like what the hell is going on sort of thing. Oh yeah.
I mean, slight tangent. I quite like Starship Troopers 2. I thought it was fun.
I did. I like Starship Troopers 3. But then you go to Starship Troopers 3 and you're like, what the fuck is this?
And that I haven't seen because I heard it's like basically Christian propaganda and just weird.
Christian, poor CGI. Super poor CGI. The worst CGI I've seen in any film.
Wow, really?
But yeah, so like I said, each series of Stranger Things has their charms. Will with the Shadow Monster season 2 was like fantastic, but it was being like sort of capsized by how useless 8 was. It is 8, isn't it? The other girl, her name was 8, wasn't it?
I don't know.
You know what? It was that long ago. I don't really remember, and don't really care.
Yeah, I think it was 8. Just if she had more relevant, season 2 would have been good.
That bit, they're only memorable because they sort of popped up for that one episode and fucked off again. Everyone's just like, what the fuck was up with that?
Yeah,
that's the only reason you remember it.
Didn't really exist. And then I ended up with bloody the Mandela effect of thinking, her and Elle teamed up and defeated the Shadow Monster. I was just like, where the fuck did that come from?
It's like that. Did that part actually happen? Did I trip?
I was so convinced it did. I was literally like, I love the bit when Elle and 8 like teamed up. And everyone's like, did that happen? I was like, yeah, it did, didn't it? Like a complete effect of like the Mandela effect.
One of my favourite scenes in the last episode, just for how badass it was, is when is Steve, Robin, and Nancy just kicking shit out of Vecna, just throwing Molotovs at him and shooting him in the shotgun. Like, did anyone else get Terminator 2 sort of flashback?
Yes, I did. Yes, I was just waiting for the lava pit to appear.
Yep. Oh.
When
right,
it was in the penultimate episode when they were driving and Nancy and Steve are talking, and Steve goes, "I've got this dream," and I was like, "Steve's dying." I was like, "Steve's dying in the next episode," and then he survived. I was like, "Oh, okay." It was one of those moments where instant death flags just popped up. It's just one of those things that I've seen time and time again in fiction where it's like, I have a dream and it's like, oh, they're gonna die.
I'm only one day away from retirement.
Pretty much.
So what are any things that you thought might have happened in the series but didn't? Because I was convinced, like in my own head canon, that at some point Vecna wouldn't like kill but like possess like the head of the basketball team, the one that fought Lucas. Like, I thought he'd murder him or something. I was kind of expecting something like that to happen.
What I expected was Vecna was going to give up on Max and was going to kill the other guy in the basketball team who was being affected by Vecna, so that he could get his 4th kill in an easy way. And I thought that maybe the how it all ends with the Upside Down connecting to the real world would happen like halfway through the finale. I was expecting that to happen way earlier than it did.
Yeah, same. Like I thought their whole plan was gonna go tits up in that regard because they put all their money on and them coming to attack Max, and then I was expecting them to say, "Oh, he's not going for Max; he's going for someone else entirely."
Yeah,
he's like,
same. I knew that Vecna was going to get his 4th kill. I was like, hands down, that's going to happen. That like, there's no way he's not going to get that by the end of this episode.
Yeah, but it'll be such a tease, won't it?
Yeah.
So it's like, he's going to invade and then doesn't.
I don't know. I was expecting Steve to die because he said the dream thing, but when he survived, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm glad he survived, but I don't know. It's also made it kind of even worse to be a bit like, I now even feel like I really feel like he's gonna die in the final season, but I don't know. Maybe he won't. I don't know.
I hope not. God, I bet you like the last episode is gonna be like it's gonna be Steve, Hopper, and 11 all like have to merge together and blow themselves up to stop Vecna. Take all 3 of them out.
I know I've seen Billy Bobby Brown say, "Oh, what was it, Duffer Brothers? I can't remember who, and they were like, well, it's not Game of Thrones. Don't expect loads of people to die." And that's not what I don't want it to be like Game of Thrones and just see every character and their cousins and dog die. But there needs. I've said this over many things.
You gotta have some weight behind it.
Yeah, and like Eddie, I think Eddie was a good death. That was a death that felt right. Like the threat of Vecna felt real. We got attached to Eddie, and it felt like a really good death to have in that final episode. Like even Max.
I was going to say more so for Max. Like you actually feel like the main characters are more vulnerable now.
Max,
and not at least.
I'm in two minds. I think it depends what they do with Max in the final season. I think that will
probably not much if she's in a coma.
I could see her just coming back, but I think in some ways maybe they should have just had her properly killed off. But I don't know.
I think that they're going to go like down the route of like they'll bring back Max, but now she's been exposed so much to like Vecna, she's going to start having like 11 powers as well now.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I know I've seen a few people say a few things that I was speaking to my mate and we were like, do you think that next in the final season, Will is going to have a massive season and he might turn out to be like a proper villain or something?
Because they keep like pushing him to the sidelines. Like,
yeah.
Maybe he'll just flip from having that bowl haircut for so long.
Because like I don't know, like I really enjoyed the season, but it felt like everything in Hawkins was just the important stuff, and everything else just felt a bit, I don't know, like with 11, it was all the stuff with 11 felt vital, but then with Will and Mike and all that, I don't know, it just felt a bit like it didn't really, nothing really happened with them except I guess the two big speeches where Will and Mike have their big speech and then Will has his speech with Jonathan. Like they were both important, but for the most part, I don't know, they didn't really do much this season at all. Like,
Tell you what, I am surprised that I forget the character's name, the Jonathan's mate, the long-haired one. I'm surprised he made it for the season. I'm expecting him to die from like from the word go.
Yeah, I guess.
I kind of expected that with Eddie as well. He's like, "Hi, I'm a new character this season." He's like, "Well, you're going to be dead by the end then."
Well, I know they said there were going to be 5 deaths in the final 2 episodes. So you had the guy no one liked. He died. He had to split. Who else? You had obviously Eddie. You had Eleven's dad. And then technically you could say Max. Technically, because she's brain dead. And then Vecna, I guess. Unless I'm missing.
He's
someone
not
else.
dead though.
No.
Yeah, we know he's not.
We know he's not. No.
You see him crawl off. You know he's the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah.
I do think it's good how they like put like the sort of the mind flayer like in him together.
Yeah, I find it interesting that it's literally like the Mind Flayer is still like somewhat of an overarching enemy. I think that's kind of nice.
Mm. Well, it's kind of nice. It's sort of got a hierarchy because I thought like, it's kind of like a proper like D&D game because it's got those sort of things. Like you've got your basic Demogorgon is your grunts, and you got your Demidogs. Now you got like the Mind Flayer, and now you've got the sort of Warlock Necromancer Mastermind.
Mm. You know how you got the clock and it chimes?
Mm.
If you go back and rewatch season 1, 2 and 3, it's in every season.
What, the clock chiming?
Yep. Apparently the clock chiming is in every season.
I might have to have a rewatch. I might have a rewatch.
Basically, just look out for all the clocks.
I don't know how often, but apparently it's in every season. But which kind of makes sense because the Duffer Brothers have been on record saying that they've planned this Stranger Things as a whole. They know how it ends. Like when they did season 1, they knew how it was going to end in season however long they wanted it to be. knew how it was going to end. So
You know what's happened then, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
The Duffer Brothers have stolen Marvel's continuity. That's what they've done.
that's
Looking forward
great.
to season 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, want to see how it ends.
So do you think season 5 is going to be the end, like the absolute last season?
Yes. Like,
Yeah, they have gone on record saying
Yeah.
like this is definitely the end. Like it's done. Actually,
Yeah.
go home because I've. Were they going to finish with season 3 initially? Because there was like quite the gap, weren't they?
I thought it was
And
season 4, but it's obviously been changed to season 5.
Yeah, but even David Harbour said like he moved away from the project, didn't he? But then I think that's when Hellboy happened and then flopped, and he's like, "Oh, I do like money. I suppose I'll go back to Stranger Things."
I can't imagine anyone else's Hopper though.
The ones of casting, wouldn't they?
I do think the Russian stuff felt a bit...
Especially in the current climate, that felt a bit. Oh,
It felt,
maybe.
I don't know. I enjoyed the Russian stuff this season, but in a weird way, it kind of felt a bit redundant. You could have taken it all out, and I don't think anything would change.
yeah, because it didn't actually seem like what they were doing in the Russian camp was actually contributing to the overall thing.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, what contribution did they have apart from deal with the Demogorgon?
Well, they had the lab there and the mind flayer. Didn't they?
Yeah, they were basically saying like it's a hive mind, so they were hurting Vecna by killing the Demogorgon and all that there. That's what they were saying, and helping 11 and all that by killing them. And like I get that, but in other ways, it just you could effectively take it all out, and kind of nothing would change.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, the overarching thing with 11 and with Vecna literally would not have changed.
Not really, unless I'm missing something. But yeah,
I'm glad it was all there because all the stuff there. I actually enjoyed the moment-to-moment stuff.
Yeah, the moments were great. The interactions between Yuri and them lot was interesting.
Yeah, Yuri made me laugh.
Enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the Russian stuff, but I'm just saying you could have taken it. I think you probably could take it out, and nothing would change.
Yeah,
but that's not. I still really enjoyed it, but that's me. I think that's I know everyone's been like gushing over these last 2 episodes, but they weren't. They were amazing, but they weren't perfect. But they were very good.
Yeah.
Like, how did he get a sword? It just appeared.
It's just one of those weapons they have.
Yeah, they had a cabinet
for them to use. Yeah, the cabinet.
Yeah.
They had the swords, they had everything, like nail bats.
You know that sword's for the Conan the Barbarian sword?
Is it?
Yeah, that Arnold Schwarzenegger had used.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But now I want my David Harbour of Conan the Barbarian reboot now.
I think they could have easily split it into 3 episodes instead of 2. I think the last episode they could have split it easily. I did really enjoy it. I think it did. The threat did feel real from start to finish. And yeah, rock on Eddie Munson.
Well then, guys, is there anything else we want to bring up before we wrap up today?
I'm just going to check if I've left the heater on because it's fucking hot.
It's not really much I've got more. There's not really anything I want to say. Like,
nah, I'm too hot to think right now.
I've watched a couple other things, but not really of any note. Like one, I watched an anime on Netflix, and I don't know if that was a anime or something else. So, but the opening and ending songs, were absolutely fire. Oh my gosh!
Rain.
Yeah, Cold Rain.
We don't want any more fire. It's too hot.
No
more fire.
Cold Rain literally released their album last week as well, Brandon.
Oh, nice.
I did put it in the old download chat anyway.
Yeah, I still need to listen to it. I've been listening to another band though, another Japanese band called Pale Dusk. And they're fucking amazing. Really, really good.
Be better than the new Parkway song. But anyway,
everything's better than the new Parkway song.
yeah. I think that's it for episode 31, boys.
I did have a quick idea. It's
Yeah.
it's a few months off, but Brandon mentioned like the Pirates of the Caribbean earlier. I was thinking maybe in September and the 18th, shall we do a pirate-themed episode? Talk about anything piratey.
Why the 18th? Why the 18th? Can I ask?
Because I believe that's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
That's what I thought. I was like,
So there you go, future listeners.
Ooh, that's just reminded me. Have you guys seen the? Right, sorry, this is just a bit of a closing
19th
remark. Have you seen
September.
that new trailer for that pirate game?
oh no, if it's the 19th of September, so it will literally be the day. We'll literally be releasing a episode on that day. Well, maybe, I don't know.
It's a sign.
Maybe I will need to check if everything goes to plan, but I think maybe yes, we will be releasing an episode on the 19th. So I guess the 2 weeks before will be it'll be a pirate episode. There you go.
Save all our piratey material for them.
Yes.
Just don't forget.
I was not saying. Just quickly. Have you seen the trailer for Skull and Bones?
No.
So it's a new Ubisoft game. It's literally
That's
just
right.
revolving around pirates.
Yeah.
So the trailer itself looked really, really nice. Like the cinematics looked great, and I was just thinking to myself, the cinematics look amazing, but what's the gameplay going to be like? So I literally right now, I'm just currently looking at a gameplay trailer, and I don't really know what to make of it. It's open. It looks open world, but at the same time, it's not. So I'm just like, what the hell is it?
You unsold me at Ubisoft.
It literally looks like, it looks interesting. And it comes out on November 8th, so if there's a continuity of any sort of pirate themes, then maybe Skull and Bones might be a cool thing to look forward to.
We shall see.
Yes. But that's been episode 31, boys. As always,
Yay.
you can follow our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, wherever else, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever else we're on. Audible as well. You can listen to our podcast there. Link is always in our bio on all our social media. So if you're not sure, you can go on our social media and find find where you can listen to us on there.
So at the end of most of these episodes, we promise we will put something on the YouTube channel.
Give us a rating on Spotify. Higher the better. Yeah, I guess that is the episode, boys. Have you got anything else to say? Obviously, you can find these two streaming on Twitch. Their links for them will be in the description, like always.
Indeed you do. Well, you said if there's anything else I want to say, and yes, there is. Arsewank. Didn't mean anything. I just wanted to say it.
Cool. Nice.
Thank you for your contribution to our greater knowledge there, Spanky.
You're very welcome. Hey, it could have been worse. You could have watched Morbius.
Yeah, that is true. Good thing I'm never. I remember when my mate mentioned about sorting the cinema trip, and near enough 10 out of 10 times I'm always like, "Yep, I'll go." But it was the one time I was like, "I'm not interested," and it was like, "Huh, Dan's not interested in a film. What's going on?" I'm like, "Nope." I am not interested.
I even remember when the trailer first came out and everyone in the cinema just sort of shrugged. It was like, okay then.
I do not want to ever watch that film. I'm not going to pay money to see it either. I'm good. That's been us. That's been Victory Achieved. And I guess you'll hear us soon, in 2 weeks. Be safe. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.